Good news everyone, Square Enix are scheduled to reveal a brand new character for Dissidia Final Fantasy, and they're set to do so very soon. The character will be revealed on the 10th of January during a new Nico Nico broadcast, which will air at 9 PM Japan Standard Time, which translates to midday GMT, 7 AM Eastern and 4 AM Pacific. In addition to announcing a new character during the stream, the development team will be talking about some of the new updates coming to the game. They will also be taking part in a Q&A session. We may even get to see a release date for Opera Omnia, which was of course delayed and missed its proposed 2016 release window. Now, going back to the character, there has, as expected, been absolutely no hint as to who the next character will be, but by looking at who they've announced so far, and when, you can see something of a loose, and I mean loose, logical pattern emerges. So far, if we exclude Spiritus and Materia, the order has gone Ramza, spin-off protagonist, Garland, antagonist, Kefka, antagonist, Kain, protagonist, Ace, spin-off protagonist, Sephiroth, antagonist. So there's two options here. Either we go along with the established pattern and say, well, the last time they went with spin-off protagonist, antagonist, they announced an antagonist, so therefore we should have an antagonist next. Or we look at the fact they've only added one protagonist from the main series so far, and that was met with a rather lukewarm reception. I'm therefore a bit more inclined to go with the latter line of thinking, purely because I think the time is perfect for Square Enix and Team Ninja to announce Noctis Lucis Caelum as the next character for Dissidia. And my reasoning for this is pretty simple. Final Fantasy 15 is riding a massive wave of popularity right now in most regions, having been the fastest selling game in the franchise globally. But as we mentioned in a previous video, it's actually been kind of struggling a bit in Japan, where of course Dissidia is currently an arcade exclusive. Even though Final Fantasy 15 is actually the best selling PS4 game in Japan right now, it was still the worst launch for a main series Final Fantasy game in Japan since Final Fantasy 5, and its sales pale in comparison to what Final Fantasy 13 achieved in the same period. I feel that announcing Noctis as the next playable character for Dissidia would therefore be just the boost the game needs in the region, and could hammer home to Japanese gamers that Final Fantasy 15 is a big deal, and they should really give it a chance. The other case for Noctis to be announced at this specific time is that Square Enix stated almost 2 years ago that they would be open to adding Noctis as a character, but only after the release of Final Fantasy 15. That interview was conducted by Dengeki Magazine and featured Takeo Kujiwaka and Ichiro Hazamu, both of whom will be taking part in the upcoming Nico Nico livestream. At the time, they said that they were of course thinking about adding Noctis, and noted he would likely use something like his Phantom Swords. Team Ninja's legendary producer Yusuke Hiyashi, who was also in the interview, noted that the team, even way back in April 2015, were already thinking about how Noctis' warp ability would factor into the game. With Final Fantasy 15 now launched, and with Noctis coming across as a very strong protagonist, it's pretty clear to me that right now there isn't a bigger character they could choose to announce for the game in terms of either hype or popularity. I feel like the only reason they might hold back is if they have some big announcements planned around Dissidia for the 30th anniversary event that's taking place on the 31st of January. I mean, it would be a pretty strong statement for Dissidia if they announced both the console port and Noctis at the same time. If that's the case, of course we'll then see another character added on the 10th of January, and it would perhaps be one of the existing protagonists like Laguna or Tifa, or an antagonist such as Golbez or Kuja. Either way, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting month for Dissidia. Who do you think they'll add as the next character in Dissidia? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This is Daryl, signing out. We'll see you next time, guys.